Hey there, welcome to the Simple Podcast. I'm Todd C. Slater, the Simple Investor. So the much awaited interest rate comment happened today. That's right. And hey, listen, I just want everybody to know, I want to hear your comments on this for sure. Make sure you subscribe. But, the one thing as Canadians, it seems like we're more interested in interest rate movement than ever before. And why is that? Well, so much has happened over the last few years. And so the Bank of Canada, that big stone building that, kind of sits in a really, it doesn't even look like it fits anymore. I almost feel like that's the narrative, that the Bank of Canada doesn't fit into the narrative anymore. But here's the thing. So today, the much awaited conversation by, that's right, the head of the Bank of Canada, Tiff Macklem. And before I tell you exactly what he did, one of the things we have to remember, this is the same guy back in 2020 and 2021 who said, hey, all you Canadians, go spend money. Make sure I'm not going to do anything. In fact, I'm going to keep the interest rates low for a long time. He said that. And it was funny because all sorts of other politicians just ended up mimicking and echoing what he had to say about this. But it's unbelievable that you've got the head of Bank of Canada that was appointed by whom? Yeah, you got it. And in the same breath, turns around and says, no, not going to do anything. Now, let's take a look at what actually happened to those rates. Because you know what? Here we are, we're cruising along, and then all of a sudden, pandemic happens. What they do, they turn around, drop their pants. Yeah, this is a good thing. Economy's going to fluctuate. We're going to have some issues. And then they turn around, and again, remember, he said, we're going to keep the interest rates low for a long time. And he actually said, and when we start to raise them, we're only going to do them, a little at a time. I don't know. That looks like a wall to me going straight up. Yeah, it's got a couple notches, 8 increases, some absolutely massive, like full points, 3/4 of a point. I mean, come on. So then, of course, today, big announcement. I typically don't hop on this, but I got to talk about the narrative about what's truly going on. What did we have today? Well, they called it a jumbo cut. What the hell is a jumbo cut? I mean, come on. I mean, if somebody says jumbo and, we start thinking of numbers, shouldn't it be like 1%, 1.5%? I mean, what did they call the increases? I didn't hear them say anything other than bend over because we're going to increase them the way we want to. So let's take a look at actually what the number now states. We're now at 3.75 with the Bank of Canada rate. That's the overall overnight rate, right? Now, here's the thing. So a jumbo cut, so that's 0.5. That's what they call a jumbo cut. You know what? I'm still struggling with this. Okay, because quite frankly, they think that they're doing something. Look, the economy's starting to tank. There's issues all over the place, and they want to call a jumbo cut 0.5. You know what? Just so you know, this isn't 6 inches, Tiff Macklem, okay? Just so we're clear, okay? That's not what it is. But let's take a look at what the Bank of Canada has to say. If the economy evolves broadly in line with our latest forecast, we expect to reduce the policy rate further. However, the timing and pace of further reductions in the policy rate will be guided by incoming information and our assessment of this implications, inflation, blah, blah, blah. The bank is committed to maintain price stability for Canadians by keeping inflation close to 2%. I'm choking on that one. Because you know what, we're down at 1.6 and they know that inflation is going to continue to go down because our economy is going to tank. This is not necessarily a good thing. Look, we need to get into a stable interest rate environment. But normally when we start seeing big reductions, it means that they're forecasting that the economy is in the toilet even furthermore than it already is. And this is part of the problem that we've got. Now, what does Tiff have to say about it? Well, we're trying to keep current as much as we can. This is what he said. We expect growth in residential investment to rise as strong demand for housing lifts sales and spending on renovations. Hey, look, Tiff, just so you know, today, there's not a bunch of buyers that are going to go running out and turn around and buy just because you said that. The problem that I have with a little bit of this narrative, this is starting to cross over into the political atmosphere. Because you remember last week, when Chrystia Freeland turned around, flat out came out and said to us, hey, look, if you want, we're going to increase the amount of mortgage if you make 4 residents in a property. You know what? You want us to do your job. You're full of shit, okay? It's as simple as that. My problem with all of this is people like her are going to try to take credit for the interest rates going down. Chrystia and Mr. Trudeau, let's be clear on one important fact. Interest rates go down because you've got a bad economic environment. And how is that happening? Because of you. You dropped interest rates because you thought it would spur the economy. Then you jacked them up, destroyed the economy. And now, since you can see it clearly, and oh yeah, isn't it about 12 months before an election? That's right. What are you going to do? Hey, let's drop interest rates. Let's look good for Canadians. You know what? People are barely surviving right now. They can barely put food on the table, barely clothe their kids. You know, the one important thing, as I've always said, I'll wrap it up, is the fact that as Canadians, each Canadian has to watch out for themselves and their friends and their family members. We've got to focus on generational wealth. It is so important that we look forward to the future. Hey, I'm going to tell you, look, if interest rates continue to go down, let's look at longer term mortgages. Let's lock it in, because you know what? I don't trust the government. I don't trust the Bank of Canada. What they've done in the past, especially the last few years, tells us they can't be trusted. And at this day and age, yeah, we need lower interest rates. We need some relief for Canadians, true Canadians, the people that are paying the taxes, and those are the people that we've got to watch out for. Hey, listen, if you like, subscribe, and leave me your comments. I'd love to hear what you think about what's happening with this latest interest rate reduction.